Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Alrighty, so I wanted to jump on really quickly. It's Tuesday, so we are in for the Tuesday teaser. I wanted to make sure that I'm being clear and consistent with the information that I'm giving you and bringing you in these internet streets. And there's been a lot of happenings going on inside of um, just the last couple of days and the weekend, just reeling. But the thing that sticks out most to me, and probably to you as well, is the passing of Chadwick Boseman. And how does that work when we just out of the blue find out that someone that is so endearing to us, that has built such a legacy, um, is no longer with us? Like, how does that work in the world? And so, how do we all of a sudden process that and then process the legacy of the man, right? Which is what I want to get into, the legacy of the man. And then, as business owners, how do we interpret that and take that on and internalize that so that we can provide a stronger foundational legacy for our businesses? How do we do that? All right. I jumped into it. I am Paula Marie for those that are new to the show, and I am the Ebony Biz Diva. So I wanted to talk about this legacy, right? So when we talk about Chadwick Boseman, if we look at all of the roles that he is known for, right? Really prolific roles of strong Black men, right? Telling those stories and not telling like the loud, great, funny, smart stories, right? But really being strong enough to dive into the vulnerable, insecure, um, small moments of each of the characters, of each of the men, the real life men that he chose to portray. So, as an actor, and I'm a thespian, I majored in theater at North Carolina Central University. Taking on roles is a tricky part because, A, you want the role, so you want to work and you want to work as much as possible, but you also want a role that you can really sink your teeth into, you can really dig into, right? And if you look at Chadwick Boseman, he chose roles that he was able to really dive into and really tell the ugly stories about each of the men. I won't say characters anymore, but these are real life men for the most part that he chose to deal with and portray. And so when we're looking at that, we're looking at the way that he chose to be vulnerable, right? And so are we being vulnerable in our businesses? Are we only highlighting the amazing things, right? Or are we highlighting just the great stories about our business? Because there's a lot of great stories rocking and rolling on these internet streets, honey, let me tell you that. But being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, working on these online internet streets can be incredibly challenging. And so there are a couple of lessons that we can take on so that we are not just, crabs in a barrel chasing, one sale after the other. You don't want to be that entrepreneur. You want to be the entrepreneur that is considered the expert, or that your product is considered the gold that people are talking about and running to you and not away from you. And so, one of the things that I can say from visually looking at the career of Chadwick Boseman is that he was consistent. If you look at the years that he worked, the lifespan of his career, the characters that he portrayed, he was consistently working, right? The messaging that he left, or the legacy that he left, is that he was unafraid to really dive into these strong, iconic male figure stories, right? And he wasn't afraid to make that his brand. Because once you make something your brand, people come to you. That's what you're known for. And so he had to organize that, because as you are taking roles, I'm sure there were roles he didn't take. I'm sure he received roles, that offers for roles that he didn't want. that didn't match his branding, that did not match his messaging, right? And he was fearless enough to say no instead of being fearful of taking everything that came his way. And you can see that in the roles that he took. You can see that in the lifespan of what he birthed throughout his career. And so you have to organize that. There has to be some strategy for that, right? Do you have strategy for your business? Or are you just throwing messages out there because it's the message of the day? Maybe you saw something and it felt good to your soul or your spirit, and you said, I'm going to do that too. But it has nothing to do with the messaging, the crafted organization of your message strategy, right? You have to be so clear about that. And in order to be clear, it always goes back to who your target audience is, what their pain points are, what problems they have, and how do you, your product or service, solve those problems, right? And so I help clients go through that with the marketing content calendar. Easy, simple, quick way to organize that calendar in 30 days, right? I help you go through that. And so if that is a struggle, just organizing what my focus is going to be today or tomorrow or next week, right? Or even for the last quarter of the year, because we're about to embark. We are in the last quarter of the year, right? We're about to hit it. We're like 30 days away from it, right? Do you have a sound marketing plan for the last 30 days of 2020 so that you end on such a fabulously high note in your business? Can someone definitely say what your business is about and what your business stands for? And does your branding visually state that? Now, if you can answer yes to all of those questions, you're fabulous. You're in the paint. But if you cannot, definitely click the link that's in the description and schedule a 30-minute consultation session with me, absolutely free, so we can talk about it. Because we got to get you organized first. You can't make money if you're not organized, okay? So get into it. Number two, you will get tired. So we found out that Chadwick Boseman had was battling cancer the last 4 years of his life quietly, right? And still working. So Black Panther came out how many years ago? And he was out promoting that show and still working. There's work that he did after that movie. So you don't think that he got tired? But you have to have a strategy so that you're not working yourself in the ground needlessly and pointlessly. You have to, after you organize who and what you are, right, and what your branding stands for, then you have to map out a strategy and create those systems that will work for you, right? And so, of course, he had people around him that did that, but I'm pretty sure they were able to create strategies to help him promote movies, make movies, um, and go to chemo and do all of the other personal stuff. It's called work-life balance, right? And that's what we all crave in our businesses. We all crave that work-life balance. But are we getting the work-life balance done? Or is it something that we're reaching for in the sky and we can't quite obtain it because we're still crabs in a barrel chasing, right? You will get tired as an entrepreneur, but the payoff of that is so much higher, so much better, so much bigger than just working a 9 to 5 and getting a paycheck, which is why we all do it, right? And so creating strategies for your posts online is critical because it also goes back to number one, your branding, right? What do you look like visually? That's what it looks like, right? And so after you organize, then you have to create, but you have to also know that there's got to be something deep inside you, that passion, that spirit that drives you, so that when you do become tired.com, you still keep pushing. Because if you don't love what you do, you will not do it for long. And so if creating these strategies is where you are in your business, right? Definitely click the link below. Uh, let's get into it. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about what strategies you've done so far, what social media platform you're on. Are they working for you? Are you generating business? Are people buying products? Are people pulling out credit cards and actually paying you for your products and services? Or are you just spinning like a hamster on a wheel? Let's have some real hard conversations about that, right? And then number three, you must implement. So I talk to a lot of new business owners and they plan all the world, right? They know exactly what their logo looks like. They know exactly what their tagline looks like. They know exactly. They don't know their audience though. They haven't niched down that audience, but they plan how they're going to market. They're going to plan who they're going to talk to. They plan who they're going to connect with, but they haven't moved. They're just planning. Like they're just in the wind planning. Stop planning and start moving. You must implement. You must take the step. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be. Because trust me, honey bunches of oats, once you start moving, you're going to tweak it, you're going to change it, right? Because once you do it, you're going to figure out a better way, a better system, which goes back to number two of how to do it. So just think that, or just know that the systems that you create are not the systems that are etched in stone. They're just the systems to get you started. You will craft and retweak and rework those systems to make sure that your business runs a little smoother, right? But you have to move in order to do that, right? Like, how many times did the iPhone come out? Because they figured out that there were more systems that they needed to put in. There were more perks that they wanted to put in. Maybe some of the things that they built with the first iPhone didn't work. So now they took those out and they added more things in. It's called business, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. Because you will not live in your greatness, you will not share your gifts, and you will not generate income if you do not move. And that is exactly what the 4-week Perfect Pinterest Blueprint is all about. It's about movement, okay? It is 3 live classes, an online platform, private consultation with me, a whole plethora of bonuses, right? Let's get into it. The link is below. So if you want to check out the link, the page, definitely check out the page, see everything that you get, because we organize, right? We create, and then we implement. And an organization is the most boring piece of your puzzle. And a lot of times we skip that because it's so boring. It's so much more exciting and sexier to create the product, to create the service, the strategies, to create all of that, right? Because you are creative as an online business owner, but you must organize, right? So if you are missing any of these pieces, if you're missing the organization, if you're missing the creativity, right, of how to move, which is number three, or implement on your business, get it out of your head and get it out there so people can see it, so people can cheer, so people can say, I need you. I need your product. I need your service, right? You have to be able to do all three. And if you are lacking in any of those three pieces of your business puzzle, your business legacy puzzle, then definitely click the link below, schedule a consultation with me. Because I will tell you, when you look at the whole lifespan of Chadwick Boseman, right? Incredibly organized career, right? Definitely created some strategies to be able to have that work-life balance and to be able to implement to his full potential, right? To implement to leave a legacy that is strong and long, right? And he moved on it because we're enjoying all of his work today. That's the legacy he left. So what is the legacy that you're leaving with your business? Let's talk about it. I'll see you inside your free complimentary schedule. This is Paula Marie, the Ebony Biz Diva, and we're talking about your business legacy. Do you have one? And how are you going to craft one? All right? Have a good one. Be safe. Be good. I will see you later in these internet streets. Have an amazing day.